Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Dawn. Let's talk to Woljif.
Psst, look Chief, I got something to show you. Ta-da! A real beaut, isn't it?
Woljif comes closer and looks around quickly, make sure no one is eavesdropping. He makes a subtle gesture and an amulet on a chain appears in his hand. A silver amulet in the shape of a waning moon, with a dark crystal in the middle. The moon of the abyss. So you did betray the thieflings.
Oof, that cuts me deep, Chief. You and I saw who the traitor was. It's just that when we robbed the shop, I went in first and took what I wanted. Nothing wrong with that. Although, of course, I did think about hiding the moon and just taking myself off somewhere warm when all this blows over. But only because I want to see the world. Is it a crime to want to travel? Huh? Is that what counts for treachery these days?
Woljif is silent for a moment, and a cunning grin crosses his face. Did you really have the amulet this whole time?
Since that night, Chief, Melround didn't even set eyes on it. While he was dealing with the golem, I sneaked past them, and that was that.
Woljif grins, pleased. Remind me, why is this item so important?
Do you really not remember it? Oh, I thought you would appreciate it. It's from the old man Fileman, the owner of the Ancient Trees and Wonders shop. It's the pride of his collection. The Moon of the Abyss, an amulet with a rare crystal crafted by an unknown maker. When I think of how much this thing is worth, it makes my head spin.
Woljif sighs, disappointed. You've been searched by guards. How did you manage to hide the amulet?
Thieves have their ways.
Woljif grins. Why didn't you give the amulet to Charisme right away?
What? So she would slay me right away, you mean? You saw how antsy she was over Canabras and all this. So I did it. I took the Moon of the Abyss. But I didn't go to Erebeth. And Big Sister wouldn't hear my explanations. She doesn't have the time. I even thought I'd hide the moon somewhere, and then when all the noise had died down, I'd go get it and make a run for it. I'm sick of the thieflings. And they never appreciated me anyway.
Why did you steal the Moon of the Abyss? You wouldn't have been able to sell an item so rare anyway.
Why, he asks? It's expensive, pretty. And you know, it's my amulet, actually. Not meaning I stole it, but I mean, this is my inheritance. My grandma and I were poor. All we had was a jewelry box with the moon in it. She used to store it under the floor in the basement, and she'd take it out sometimes just to look at it.
Woljif puts his hands in his pockets and looks away. And he sighs.
She was always nicer when she had a few drinks in her, so I could ask her things then. One time I asked where she got it from, and she said it was from a demon. You know, the demon who was my grandfather. He said the moon was to be passed down. My ma was good for nothing and nobody, so that's why Grandma decided to keep the amulet for me. She used to say it would be mine when I grew up. But she couldn't wait until I grew up. She squandered my inheritance when she became a drunk. Took it to Fileman's shop and pawned it. He gave her some coppers for it, and she didn't even haggle. Just grabbed them and ran back to the tavern before last orders.
Woljif scowls.
I've been going to Fileman's to look at the moon ever since I was a kid. He chased me away, but I just kept going back, so eventually he gave up. He didn't skimp on security. The place was like a fortress, so he wasn't worried about a street rat like me pinching anything. Even when I got more skilled, I couldn't get any closer to it. One day, I had no one to go with. Another day, there were only oafs who'd never stolen anything more than a church donation box. But when Charisme had planned everything out, I realized I had a chance to get the moon and move away from here. Maybe to Garen. I hear it's warmer there. I've stayed with the family for too long.
Woljif looks away again. Risking everything for some shiny trinket.
This isn't just some shiny trinket. First, maybe some rich person's just dying to buy it. We need to put out some feelers and see if anyone's in the market. Second, maybe it'll come in handy. And besides, I spent so many years looking at it. I imagine things like, what if my grandfather left something else and my grandma spent that too? Maybe I could have had my own barony already if things had turned out differently. Or got some decent education in the capital. They're all just dreams, but the moon is right here. You've got to hold on to what's yours, Chief.
You deceived the people who considered you a friend. That's not the way you treat your friends.
family, friends. You know, some people don't believe in gods, so gods don't exist for them. And I don't believe in family. All that heartwarming talk about sticking together. Ugh. People like to say those things, but when push comes to shove...
Woljif gives you a strange look, and the tip of his tail twitches.
Sister Charisme used to say that us tieflings were one family, and you see how that turned out. And did you hear that excuse for an apology? I did the right thing, and I was right to want to run when I just planned on stealing the Moon of the Abyss. Everything turned out as it should. Whatever you think, I owe you. I'm not just a thief, I have my own business selling things. Thanks to you, I'm still in the family, and we have the black market sewn up in this city. It's a good way to sell valuables.
Making sure no one is going to take the amulet from him, Woljif hides it under his shirt and folds his arms on his chest.
So, if you need anything, a scroll or something, just say the word. I have a little portal to our people in Nerosian. You put a note there, and you get what you need. I can't get you anything big, but what they do have is all high quality. Nothing's too good for you, Chief. What's mine is yours. For a price, of course.
Woljif is standing, repeatedly flipping a coin into the air and catching it. He looks bored, but the tip of his tail is twitching nervously. Noticing you, he perks up. Hey, Chief. How about letting me go? Why do you need a thief in your party? What if I rob you in your sleep? I mean, I'm not going to, for now. Well, what if I get a rush of inspiration? Are you really staying in the party, or just waiting for a chance to run off? Woljif gives you a hurt look. As if I could. There are demons and dangers around every corner. Tiefling stops short. Don't you worry, Chief. I'll work off my debt honestly. I won't stab you in the back or go on the run with your money. And if you buy my wares, I'll have to leave it all. Show me what you can get using your tiefling connections. Woljif's face breaks into a happy grin. Look, Chief. The tieflings have all the best things. They sell some pretty good stuff, and it gets better later. So, Poisonous Dart. Whenever this +1 dart confirms a critical hit on an enemy, the target must make a successful Fortitude saving throw DC 13 or be poisoned. The poison deals 1d3 Constitution damage per round for 3 rounds. Poison creatures can make a Fortitude save each round to negate the damage and end the affliction. Demons are immune to poison anyway. Monster Hunter. This +1 Dwarven Urgrosh grants its wielder +1 bonus on attack rolls against magical beasts. Estoc of Purity. This +1 Cold Iron Estoc deals an additional 1d3 positive energy damage on a hit. Gnome Hooked Hammer of Discipline. This +1 Gnome Hooked Hammer deals an additional +1 damage to chaotic creatures. Quarterstaff of Slip. This +1 Quarterstaff grants its wielder a +1 competence bonus to armor class. And a few scrolls and rods. Nothing I'm going to buy yet. But while we're here, we do have to buy a couple things. I don't think I've purchased it yet, right? So we do have that. I won't buy those yet. But it is a good idea to save up to buy enough Death Ward scrolls for your entire party. And animal companions if you really want to.
I'm gone.
Though it's not as important to keep your animal companions alive and healthy because they come back on rest. Where if you play on core, if any of your companions die, you have to actually use Raise Dead or some other resource to bring them back, like Resurrect. Let's get to the market square. The city fair with lots of attractions and live music was in full swing when the demons attacked. Now the pavement is stained red with blood, and a gaping rift cuts the square in two. This is the place where the demon lord Discari cleaved the land with his terrible scythe, marking the beginning of the demonic invasion of Mendev. Alright, off to the market square. We're gonna go shopping for violence. The Knowledge Arcana.
Ask nicely.
Open your heart to me.
This is my kind of work.
These enormous cracks appeared after a magically induced earthquake struck the land. That's not what I would call it, but... No, I'll tell you everything. Just don't hit me. I never stole nothing. Only just joined the Tieflings. The Tiefling gestures back the way he came, as if that explains something. It was all them, back there. They found an underground passage to the Great Garrison. They've been nicking stuff out of there ever since. Low-down thieving toe rags. That's what they are. But I had nothing to do with it, I swear. Brother Gort, is that you? Brother Woljif, I thought you pegged it with in Irbeth's jail. Happy to see you too. Who are you? An honest guy who's fallen in with some bad folks. The Tieflings. The local thieves around here. They forced me to join their gang. But I didn't want to. Just don't hand me over to Irbeth, valiant crusaders. Please. In the name of all the gods there ever were. Igor here is a new addition to the Tieflings. So far he's swiped around 5,000 gold. He's got a long way to go before he catches up with me, mind. They made me do it. An underground passage to the Great Garrison. Tell me more. Right, so the temple around here, Temple of Iomedae, has a cellar, and a passage leads from it right to the Great Garrison. The Tieflings, my pals, darn the lot of them, have been using this passage on and off to sell all sorts of stuff to the soldiers and the Great Garrison. So when the demons burst into the city, we thought we'd check up on the Great Garrison to, see how the soldiers were faring, and to offer our assistance. Don't give me that look. This is the first I'm hearing of this. Tieflings keep secrets from each other too, you know. But why are you afraid of me? You're one of them crusaders, ain't you? You lot hate our guts. The Tieflings, I mean. You lock us up and do worse to us. The Tiefling gulps loudly. But I'm not a Tiefling. Not really. Can I help you somehow? Yeah. Let me go, please. Go on your way. Cheers for letting me go like this. I'll remember you 100 years. I will. I'll name my firstborn after you. Under your stare. Tiefling falls silent and then runs off. He can't name his firstborn after me because he never asked for my name.
Yet another obstacle.
We don't want
I'll cut you wide open.
Woljif up front.
Cover me, alright?
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
We do it my way.
I'll watch your back.
Matricium Turinos. Matricium Turinos.
Follow if you dare.
Alright. Hang tight for a second.
I'm off.
You can trust me.
We should move.
Pretty tough little fight ahead of us.
I do what I must.
Something wrong?
Save the last one for me. The spirits demand your blood.
The light take you!
Don't hold back! Strike!
You are today's sacrifice!
Did you see that? You should have run! This will hurt!
Go for their hearts!
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Alright, Woljif, dispel your grease, please.
The world in crimson!
Don't hold back!
Alright, that went really well. That fight has the potential to go very badly. And there is a reason why I'm going this way on the map as well. We still have room in our party for one more companion.
Well?
Pretty good, aren't I?
We'll make this quick. She won't feel a thing.
I don't know. Can we really do this?
Listen, we don't have a choice. There are demons everywhere. What else would you have us do?
A group of knights surrounds a young elven girl. She's dressed in rags that barely cover the hideous scars on her body. The beggar girl is on her knees, watching placidly as the people argue heatedly around her. It is as if she doesn't sense the looming threat at all. A black crow flies in agitated circles above her head.
In Iomede's name, we're sorry, girl, but it is our duty. We have to do this, not for our own sake, but for the sake of everyone who can still be saved from the demons. If we don't win this battle, you won't have long to live anyway.
The knight brings his sword up above the girl's head.
They're insane! We've got to do something!
Sela looks at you, terror in her eyes.
I understand. You're scared. You feel powerless. You think this will help. You don't have to justify yourselves to me. Just do what you've decided to do.
The girl smiles serenely, as though she isn't at risk of imminent death. What's going on here?
We...
The knight's hands are shaking.
Our weapons barely scratch the demon's hides. We're sacrificing this girl to Iomede so we can consecrate our weapons with her innocent blood and gain the power to destroy the spawn of the abyss.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
It's extreme, but we have no other choice. We have to defend this city somehow, or else we'll all perish, including her.
Either your weapons and step away from her, or else.
Whoa, no need for that.
The knights slowly back away from the girl.
Please, don't fight. All of you are good people, defenders of the city. Please don't hurt them. They just made a mistake.
The girl turns to you. The knights look at each other and take off running.
They're gone, and they all lived. I was sure that someone would die today. So many people have died here already. But we are still alive for some reason. Strange, isn't it?
The elf girl smiles at you. The crow lights on her shoulder and looks at you with eyes that are much too intelligent for an ordinary bird.
But you shouldn't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a silly girl, really.
The girl shrugs, smiling serenely. Who are you?
Call me Ember. I live here, on the streets, for many years now. But there's nothing to say about me.
I don't think you're an ordinary girl. And that crow you have there, it's not ordinary either.
No, don't be silly. I'm very ordinary. Well, I know different types of tricks, but Soot taught me those.
The elf girl strokes the crow's beak. Its eyes narrow in satisfaction, and it makes a cooing sound.
Now Soot here, she truly is unusual. She's clever and she can talk, but only to me. She teaches me magic tricks and lots of other stuff. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Magic tricks, you say? Could prove useful in fighting the demons, and I'll be able to protect you from insane soldiers on the streets. Come with me.
I must have misheard. This girl? Join our party? What could we possibly want with this dirty little beggar?
Sure, let's go.
The girl gives you a smile, joyous and untroubled, like a child's. Alright, welcome Ember to the party. And her familiar Soot. So she doesn't have any, specific sub-race. Just basic. You are a usual exemplar of your race. Medevian Orphan background. Medevian Orphan adds Lore Religion to the list of her class skills. She also gains a +1 bonus on saving throws against demons. And Atheism. In Golarion, atheism usually denotes the belief that those beings commonly called gods are not worthy of the authority and reverence bestowed upon them by others. Atheists rarely doubt the existence of deities, and generally acknowledge that deities are very powerful beings, but they deem them no more than that. Instead of gods, they tend to revere ideals such as goodness or freedom, philosophies such as the prophecies of Calistrate or diabolism, or nothing in particular. Some scholars argue that the term atheist is incorrectly applied to these people, referring terms such as ditheists or misotheists. Others call themselves agnostics, as they say that no mortal can say what is divine and what isn't, as the workings of the divine are fundamentally unknowable by mortals. However, such distinctions are lost on a generally religious society, and most accept the more common term. Atheism is looked down upon in many parts of Golarion, but is enforced on a state level in the nations of Rahadum and Garund, Huvei in the River Kingdoms, and Bachuan and Tianja. Despite their lack of faith, atheist souls are still judged by Pharasma. Their posthumous fate varies. Some are sent to planes best matching their individual alignments and philosophies, while others become bodiless spirits on the astral plane, are reincarnated to find their fate in the Graveyard of Souls. At first level, she gets point-blank shot. You get a +1 bonus on attack and damage rolls with ranged weapons at ranges of up to 30 feet. And level 3, she has precise shot. You can shoot or throw ranged weapons at an opponent engaged in melee without taking the standard -4 penalty on your attack roll. Oh, she is a stigmatized witch. Some witches think of their magic not as a gift, but as a curse. Her body is tarnished with a mark of her ill fate. This way. Maybe the patron of such a witch was cruel and decided that power mustn't come cheap. Or maybe they mercifully helped the witch to turn the adversities that befell her into a source of new strength. A stigmatized witch relies on intuition. Her magic is based not on the sharpness of her wit, but on the strength of her character. Instead of the regular powers granted by a patron, such a witch gets a curse like an oracle. She casts her spell spontaneously, like a sorcerer rather than a wizard. So essentially, when it says it's not based on the sharpness of her wit, she doesn't use intelligence as her caster stat. It's charisma instead. So she has the blackened curse. Your hands and forearms are shriveled and blackened, as if you had plunged your arms into a blazing fire. Your thin, papery skin is sensitive to the touch. You take a -4 penalty on weapon attack rolls, but you add Burning Hands to your list of spells known. At 5th level, add Scorching Ray and Burning Art to your list of spells known. At 10th level, add Fire Snake to your list of spells known, and your penalty on weapon attack rolls is reduced to -2. At 15th level, add Hellfire Wraith to your list of spells known. Alright, she has Slumber as her first hex. A witch can cause a creature within 30 feet to fall into a deep magical sleep, as per the spell Sleep. The creature receives a will save to negate the effect. If the save fails, the creature falls asleep for a number of rounds equal to the witch's level. This hex can affect a creature of any hit dice. This hex ends immediately if the creature takes damage. Whether or not the save is successful, a creature cannot be the target of this hex again for 1 day. So that first sentence there, this hex can affect a creature of any hit dice, is important because the normal sleep spell has a hit dice cap. is a Raven Familiar. A familiar is a magical pet that enhances the character's skills and senses. A Raven's master gains a +3 bonus on persuasion checks and a +2 bonus on perception checks. And simple weapon proficiency, you become proficient with all simple weapons. And improved hex, which won't apply until later. And she has the vulnerability curse, which can make her enemies vulnerable to energy. This hex lasts for a number of rounds equal to the witch's level, during which any energy resistance or energy immunities on the target are suppressed. A successful will save reduces this to just 1 round. Whether or not the save is successful, that creature cannot be the target of this hex again for 1 day. So I'm not going to go to this house yet.
I'm gone.
So I mentioned before there's a time limit in Act 1. You don't lose anything, nothing's blocked off, but areas will change. So the market square will repopulate with different enemy types, but the insides of these buildings don't change. So you don't have to go inside any of these buildings until later if you don't want to. And it's actually advised that you don't, because I think, yeah, all the fights in all the buildings are much more difficult than your standard fights on the streets. There's a bunch of rat swarms in this building. It's a pretty nasty fight.
I won't let you hurt my friends.
Into the fray! No glory without
Stab you or zap
risk.
you. Why not both?
I am your end!
Distract them for me.
I'll cut you wide open.
You won't survive me. Endure this! Strike!
The spirits demand your blood.
That's another fight that could go sideways very fast, so I'm glad that went as smoothly as it did. The car is laden with possessions looted from the surrounding houses.
We do it my way.
Now our Hippogriff companion is making these fights a lot easier since he can charge the back line, and he can charge over the enemy's heads.
The heartbeat quickens.
Alright, so they should be fighting a couple Crusaders over here, making it a little easier. Keep Woljif back.
Surrender or else.
Time to share your treasures.
Make every strike count.
Sorry, I have to do this.
You should have run!
That's why I was trying to take out the cleric with Sunshine there. With all that AoE damage, it doesn't do a lot, but it does add up over time. We don't really have time to rest.
Follow if you dare.
So I wouldn't have minded the Crusaders dying, because they all have 2 health potions. Alright, there's Kaelessa.
I found nothing.
Also, the NPCs in this area are unique in that they actually help you fight. So you can actually use the Crusaders because all the enemies here are fairly weak too. The Crusader NPCs are pretty effective in combat. So if you can lure groups of enemies back to Crusaders, they'll help you fight, and it makes them a few of the combats a lot easier. The elf hunched up next to you is clutching a small but deep puncture wound. Her appearance is quite remarkable. Her skin is blacker than any Garoon's. Her teeth are fanged, and her hair is as gray as a crone's. Her crimson eyes glare at you with a gleam of malice. What are you looking at, soldier? Like what you see? Take a closer look at her strange appearance. Roll a 19. It appears that this woman is a drow. Her race is also known as dark or cavern elves. They're rarely seen on the surface, so it is surprising to encounter her here. Who are you? Giving you a scrutinizing look, she says harshly. There's no point in you knowing, soldier. Trust me, the answer would only bring you misfortune, and it still wouldn't be of any use to you. I'm a wanderer you won't ever meet again. Who wounded you? She responds with a razor-sharp smile. Haven't you noticed? The city is burning. There's a battle going on. I was wounded by a cultist. Ember's looking over her thoughtfully. Her wounds are so strange. Not like mine at all. Not at all like mine. Excuse me. They burned me from the outside, but you're burned from within. I think. It hurt, didn't it? Unperturbed by her cold silence, Ember continues. Yes, I can see that it hurt. I'm sorry that happened to you. I can heal you. With a resolute shake of her head, she barks. Don't. I can handle it myself. I don't like it when strangers cast spells on me. I'll heal her. I can't leave you in this state. To the abyss with you. The elf tries clumsily to pull away, but the magic does its work. And the stab wound in her body heals quickly. Glaring at you, she mutters through clenched teeth. Thanks and everything, but the next person who uses magic on me without my permission gets an arrow to the eye. You're a drow, aren't you? She flinches, looking at you with undisguised sorrow. You have a keen eye for these things, don't you, soldier? You guessed correctly. I am a drow. But don't think that gives you the right to judge me. There's much you don't know about me, and never will know. Believe me, it's for your own good. I know who you are. You're Kaelessa, a cultist of Discari. Also, I don't know why this is lawful. There's no trial or anything. You just attack her because she's a drow. That's not lawful. That's a lie. Her crimson eyes flash, as she says firmly, I loathe demons, and I'll kill any I come across. Take a closer look at the elf. She's clearly holding something back, but she doesn't appear to be lying either. Whatever it is she's hiding, her claim that she hates demons sounds quite convincing. You're not lying. You're not telling me the whole truth. What? Was I supposed to pour my heart out? She looks at you defiantly. You have your war soldier. I have mine. You're fighting chaos and madness, and I'm fighting lies and hypocrisy. We're both willing to die for our cause, aren't we? Why would foreign slander you? Kaelessa's grim expression hardens further, as bleak and unflinching as the words on a tombstone. You're asking questions that are dangerous in and of themselves. I urge you to stop. The more you know about me, the higher chances that a traitor's dagger will find its way into your back. I believe you. Born is at the defender's heart. You should keep clear of the place. It was never my intention to set foot in there. Farewell, soldier, and thank you for believing me. So you could kill Kaelessa there and finish Forn's quest right now. But if you don't, her quest will continue through the rest of the game.
Can we retreat already?
Oh, didn't mean to start another fight. Sorry, they're
wrong
fighting Crusaders,
mongrel.
so we should be okay.
won't survive me.
Cover me, all right?
I do what I must.
The Crusader got back up. He wasn't killed, just knocked unconscious. Look at this guy. He looks a little different than your standard Crusader. I used up my healing powers for today. I should have prayed harder to Iomedae. Yeah, he stands out a little bit, doesn't he? Alright, I'm gonna call it here, and next time we'll try to build a bridge out of the debris and continue around the market square. We knocked out a good chunk of it. There's basically 3 sections. So you have the section we just explored, this entire top section, and then a section down here. But either way, for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.